What is going on, Yankees fans or baseball fans? Coming at you with another baseball video. And this is going to be my MLB playoff predictions for the 2020 season. Now, if you saw my last video, you probably already know who I think is going to win the Yankees-Indians series. But anyway, if you didn't see it, I'm going to predict every playoff series, go from the wild card rounds all the way up to the World Series champion. And yeah, we'll go from there. So let's get right into it. So the first series we have right in front of us here. We'll start with the American League, go from the National League, and and we'll go from there. We'll go the American League Wild Card Series, and then the National League Wild Card Series, and then we'll go from there. So the first series, the number 1 seed Tampa Bay Rays go up against the number 8 seed Toronto Blue Jays. Now, this is where I could definitely see an upset. The Blue Jays played the Rays tough all year. And the Blue Jays, I know necessarily don't have great pitching. They don't have a great bullpen. They have a very young team, inexperienced. And pretty much none of the players have really ever made the playoffs in their career. They got a new coach. They're a very young team. Probably, they're arguably the youngest team in baseball right now. I think they might be the youngest team in baseball. So, it's going to be very tough for Toronto to win this series. But once again, there's no fans in the stand. There's nobody to, give them pressure. So, the Blue Jays should not be intimidated because the Rays are the clear favorites in this series. I think the Blue Jays have a chance to pull an upset in this series, but I don't see it happening. Now, I really want to see it. I think the Blue Jays just kind of the lack of a third starter. I like Hyun-Jin Ryu. I like Taijuan Walker. I feel like they just need a third guy, and I really don't see them winning 2 games against Tampa. I could see them winning 1. I could definitely see them winning Game 2. I believe Hyun-Jin Ryu is their Game 2 starter. I could definitely see them winning that game against Glasnow, because he's really never pitched in the playoffs before, and I think he might have had pitched in against Houston. I think he gave it like 4 runs in the first inning, so I think Toronto definitely has a big disadvantage in this series. I do think they keep it close. I think it's a very close, a very hard-fought series, but I do see Tampa Bay coming out on top and beating the Toronto Blue Jays. I gotta go tap on the computer. All right, there we go. So I clicked on the Tampa Bay Rays, and now we have the Indians and the Yankees. I have the Indians. Now, I hate to say it. I want to pick the Yankees, but they have not been consistent enough. They haven't proved to me that they can be a team that can have a possible run in the playoffs, because they had one 10-game win streak this year, and then they completely fell off. I think they lost 5 out of their final 7 games. So I really just don't think the Yankees will be consistent enough to win this series. I see the Indians taking 2 out of 3, especially because the Yankees have been horrible on the road all year, and I think just not playing at home definitely hurts the Yankees a lot, and I see the Indians winning this series in 3 games, so I'm going to go tap on the screen there. I have the Indians playing the Rays in the ALDS. So the next series we have is between the Minnesota Twins and the Houston Astros. Minnesota Twins. Really easy choice here. The Astros are completely decimated with injuries, and look at their roster. They have a lot of talent, but they're really not a great team. And I think it just proved that the Astros definitely need the stealing signs to win games, because it's clear the Astros are nowhere near as good without the camera on center field. So I don't see Houston coming close in this series. I think the Twins annihilate Houston. And another thing, the Astros don't have any pitching. Besides Zach Greinke, they really don't have a good pitcher in that rotation. So I definitely see the Twins running away with this series, beating the Astros in 2. So let's go tap on the screen. So I have the Twins advancing and beating Houston. Next series, the Oakland Athletics and the Chicago White Sox. A lot of people have Chicago. I feel like people are doubting Oakland a little bit. Now, I know the White Sox had a crazy start. They're a really young and exciting team. They have Luis Robert, Yohan Moncada, Tim Anderson, Lucas Giolito, Dallas Keuchel. You got Dane Dunning, the rookie. He might pitch in the playoffs. You never know. Who else they got? What's the other guy's name? Edwin Encarnacion, the former Yankee. You got that offense is loaded, and they're pitching pretty solid too. I mean, there was a big question mark on the rotation before the season. I had the White Sox not making the playoffs. Obviously, this was before the expanded playoffs came into play. This was when, the MLB wasn't planned to do the regular playoffs, but now that they have the expanded playoffs, I would have had the White Sox making it. But I did not have the White Sox making the playoffs in the regular playoffs, and, they made it. They were the number 1 seed in the American League for a very long time. They completely fell off in the final couple games of the year, and they fell to the 7 seed. So I think Oakland wins this series. I think it's going to be 3. I do see the White Sox winning a game. They have a loaded offense. I think they probably win Game 1 with Giolito on the mound, but I see the A's coming back, winning the next 2. I really don't see the White Sox having a great backup, kind of like back end of the rotation. Giolito is really the only guy I trust on their staff. So I really don't see the White Sox taking Game 1. I see Oakland coming back, winning the next 2. Even though Matt Chapman's hurt, I still see Oakland beating the White Sox and moving on to the next round. They will be playing the Minnesota Twins. I mean, the A's are a 2 seed for a reason. I feel like people are kind of doubting the A's a little bit. I think they're a lot better than people expect. All right, now we move on to the National League. The first series we got here is between the LA Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers. It's a no-brainer. The Dodgers are crushing Milwaukee in this series. Now, I know they actually played each other in the NLCS a few years ago, but and that went 7 games. But this is a different Brewers team. This is not a very good team. They finished 2 games under 500. They got lucky to make the playoffs. This is not a really good team. Brewers really don't have any pitchers I trust to win a game for them, so I see the Dodgers completely running away with this series. Dodgers sweep the Brewers in 2, but if the Dodgers do lose this series, that would be hilarious. I'll say that right now. But Dodgers definitely beating the Brewers. They're going to beat them in 2, so I have the Dodgers beating the Brewers. Next series, we have the Padres going up against the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals obviously had that 3-week delay where they weren't playing baseball because of the COVID outbreak, but they started playing baseball, and, they played okay. They were 30-28 on the year. They're not a very fun team. I mean, they're kind of a dry, bland team. They're not really fun. And the Cardinals were my pick. I didn't have the Cardinals making the playoffs this year. I was right about them. I mean, obviously they made the playoffs, but they wouldn't have made it if it was expanded. So, obviously, I don't like the Cardinals. I really not a huge fan of the Cardinals, in my opinion. I think the Padres definitely win this series pretty easily. I think it might go 3, but I do see the Padres coming out on top and beating the Cardinals. So let's go there. So the Padres will be taking on the Dodgers in the NLDS. Should be a very good series. All right, next series. The Chicago Cubs and the Miami Marlins. It's going to be the Cubs. I mean, even though Miami, they had a great story, they made the playoffs, nobody expected the Marlins to make the playoffs. Definitely the biggest surprise team out of this whole playoffs, but definitely see the Cubs winning this series. I do see the Marlins winning a game, but I think the Cubs beat the Marlins in 3. They move on to the NLDS. Okay, so the Cubs beat the Marlins, and by the way, I did not see the Cubs being the 3 seed in the National League. They had a really good season. I'll admit, before the season, I had the Cubs being a mediocre team this year, and they proved me wrong. They had a good season. I think the Cubs beat the Marlins in 3. Next series. This is going to be the series I'm most excited to watch out of all the series in baseball. The Braves and the Reds. Now, a lot of people might say the Braves are going to run away with this. The Braves probably have the best offense in baseball this year. But the Reds, they have pitching. And the Reds ended out their season ridiculously hot. They have Trevor Bauer, Sonny Gray, and Luis Castillo. 3 really good pitchers that they can fire out there against Max Fried. I think Kyle Wright in Game 2. I'm not sure who's pitching in Game 3. But the Braves are definitely weak on the pitching side of the ball. But their offense is absolutely, insane. Marcell Ozuna, Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Freddie Freeman, probably going to win the MVP. Adam Duvall, Austin Riley. Who else? Nick Markakis. A ton of guys. The Braves are loaded offensively. But pitching-wise, I don't see it. As much as I want to pick the Reds, I think I'm still going to go with the Braves. They still are the 2 seed in the National League. The Reds, they were my team. I really love this Reds team coming into the season. They still made the playoffs. They got off to a really slow start. I'm still happy that they made the playoffs. I think it goes 3 games, but I do see the Braves beating the Reds. Going to be a tough series, but I think the Braves swing their way to a wild card series win. They beat the Reds in 3. So let's go tap that on the screen. So the Braves will be taking on the Cubs. So let's move up to the AL Division Series. So the Rays take on the Indians. This is going to be an interesting series because the Indians and the Rays are both probably the 2 best, pitching teams in the American League. I mean, they're both really good pitching teams. I expect a lot of these games to be low scoring. By the way, they're 5-game series now, so it's pretty much the regular playoffs now. So the Rays play the Indians in a 5-game series. Rays have home field advantage. This is tough. As much as I want to pick the Indians, the Rays they don't have a lot of players healthy. I think this is definitely going to be a very low-scoring series, but you'll start to see a little bit more of the Rays' back end of the rotation, even though they have a lot of depth on the pitching side of the ball. This is tough. I'm going to go with the Indians to win this series. You know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go with Cleveland to beat the Rays, to beat the number 1 seed Rays. The Indians, in my opinion, have the best staff in baseball. You'll get to see Tristan McKenzie. You'll get to see, what's his name? Adam Savali, I think his name is. You'll get to see Shane Bieber again. I think the Indians win this series. I really do. I think, the Indians have days off. They have, they can rest Shane Bieber, so he'll be able to pitch in that series. And they also you will get to see probably Tristan McKenzie, the rookie. He had a great year for them. The Indians are just loaded on the pitching side of the ball. Even though they don't hit well, they're still healthy, and the Rays are not relatively healthy on the offensive side of the ball. So I think the Indians beat Tampa Bay. I think it goes 5, but I see the Indians beating the Rays and moving on to the ALCS. I'm pretty sure nobody saw that coming. Next series, the Minnesota Twins and the Oakland A's. Will we see a AL Central ALCS, or will we see the Oakland A's play in the ALCS against the Indians? This is a tough series. I'm going to go with the Twins. I think the Twins beat the A's, and they move on to the ALCS to play the Cleveland Indians, a AL Central rivalry. I think the Indians take on the Twins. It's going to be a great series. It's going to be a dogfight, but I do see the Indians coming out on top, or the Twins beating the Oakland A's in 5. I think it also goes 5, but I do see the Twins coming out on top, beating the A's. I don't know why. I've just got good feelings that the Twins, since they're not playing the Yankees, I just have a good feeling that the Twins are going to do well this year. I don't know why. I just have a feeling that the Twins are going to find a way to win in the playoffs, and they're going to move on to the ALCS to play the Indians. All right, on to the National League, the Dodgers and the Padres. This is going to be a fun series. So, I don't know. These teams, I think that they might have had some bad blood during this season. They probably don't like each other. They're the 2 top teams in the National League West. I want to pick the Padres. I really do. I really want to pick the Padres, but I got to go with the Dodgers. I hate to be boring, but I got to go with the Dodgers to beat the Padres, and Dodgers move on to the National League's Championship Series. Dodgers, I like the Dodgers this year. I mean, I think it's finally their year. I think they beat the Padres. They move on. Cubs and Braves. Braves. Pretty easy pick for me. Definitely see the Braves beating the Cubs. I don't really think it's going to be close. And by the way, I see the Dodgers beating the Padres in 5. And for the Braves and Cubs, I see the Braves beating the Cubs in 4. Really don't see the Cubs being much of an issue. I just think Atlanta's a better team overall. So I think if the Braves beat the Cubs pretty easily there, in 4 games, the Braves move on to the NLCS. So I'll click on their name there. Dodgers and Braves. NLCS. Who am I going with? I'm going to start off with the ALCS, actually. Indians and Twins. A lot of people probably didn't expect me to put these 2 teams, but I have a gut feeling that this is going to be what the series is. I just like the Twins matchups a lot. Now, a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy for putting the Twins here. I just really like their matchups. I really like them playing Oakland, and I really like them playing Chicago. I just think they're better than them, and I don't know. I just like how the Twins match up with these teams. So I do see the Twins moving on to play the Indians. This is going to be a very tough choice. I'm going with the Twins. You know what? I'm going for it. I'm going with the Minnesota Twins to move on to the World Series. They win the American League. I'm pretty sure nobody saw that coming. They're not playing in the Yankees. I just have a feeling the Twins are going to win the American League this year. I just really like the way they match up with these teams. I like the Twins. I think they slug their way to a World Series. They win the American League pennant. They're going to the World Series. Dodgers and Braves. Who I think is going to win this series? I've got to go with the Dodgers. I think they win the National League, beat the Braves, and it gets the 1 seed going up against the 2 seed. I think it's going to be a very high scoring, a very fun series. I think it's going to be back and forth. I see the Dodgers beating the Braves in 6 games. They move on to the World Series. They play the Minnesota Twins in the World Series. Dodgers, Twins, that's my World Series. Now who I think is going to win? And it's going to be the LA Dodgers. It's got to be them. It has to be the Dodgers this year. You sign Mookie Betts. You spend all that money to sign him. The past 3 years, you won 100 games. You've won the West for the 20th millionth year in a row. It's finally the year the Dodgers finally win a ring this year. It's about time. And the Dodgers beat the Twins in 4 games. I think they sweep away the Twins. Dodgers are the World Series champions. So that's my prediction for the 2020 playoffs. Put your predictions down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on who I picked. Who did you pick? Put it down in the comments below. So that's going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm running out of time. That's going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to you guys next time. Let's go Yankees.